These could be some of the last fragrances that you would ever need to buy, you know, assuming the fact that you might have decided that you've just had enough. Your collection has gotten too big. You don't really need to keep adding to it forever. If you just wanted to grab a couple more to finish it off strong, I think any of these would be a great option. Doesn't mean you have to buy all 10 of them and then stop. You could just pick one or maybe two, depending on what catches your attention the most, to finish it off. And that might be putting you in a really good spot, because a lot of these, pretty much all of them, have really good versatility, complement factor, you know, quality, and to some extent, a few of these a pretty good uniqueness level to them. So I think there's a lot of good things in here. Now, you know, for a lot of us, we might like to think that we'll be done, but we probably won't be. So maybe this is all wishful thinking, and it's just a fun topic to think about. For me, if I were to think about stopping collecting, which I'm just not going to, but I would definitely end on a good note with some of these. This first one is Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense. Out of all of the Born in Romas, this is one of my favorites. I would probably say this one and the new Green Extravaganza are a couple of my favorites. Now, I'm not saying that the others are bad, and I'm not saying that I don't like any of the other ones, because neither of those ring true. But this has become one that I really enjoy a lot more than I thought I was initially going to. It's got vanilla, vetiver, lavender. It's sweet, like you would expect, given just the line and the original Born in Roma and stuff. However, you do get a nice aromatic lavender freshness, and then a nice woody, slightly earthy, and slightly soapy undertone too. So you get a really, really decent balance going on. And this is going to be a situation where it's not the most unique thing out there. You know, this isn't going to be one of those, because it's a pretty common smell. It's a pretty familiar smell. So not necessarily looking at that bullet point with this, but it is going to check off the boxes of being a great complement puller and having really good versatility too. You know, you might find that it suffers a little bit in the super high summer heat, but pretty much any other time, you could pull this one off for about anything. You know, it's just, you could really do a lot with it. It's not crazy expensive either. You know, a lot of new designers are getting that way. It's not really the case here. You know, when it pops up on discounters, you're looking right at around $100. Nothing too crazy, but that does go a long way given the usability that this one has. Next up, we have Jean Paul Gaultier Les Beau Les Parfum. This one's been in the hype spotlight for a while now, and it always sells out quickly. It's got coconut, tonka bean, pineapple. I describe it as a summer gourmand. I mean, that's, to me, the easiest way to put it. That makes the most amount of sense. A summer-themed, sweet, edible-smelling scent, essentially. You know, and again, to kind of double down on it, it is a pretty sweet scent, and it's not what you would expect from a summer scent if you're used to fresh aquatic citrus fragrances like most summer scents are. So this one can throw you off, but I mean, when you look at the notes and you see the pineapple, the coconut, the tonka bean, the sandalwood, and everything like that, if you think it's going to be super fresh, I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it's kind of, you know, spelled out for you. You just got to fully come to terms with that before you decide to blind buy this one and be caught off guard. So, you know, it's going to be, to me, more of a summer evening scent for a night out. You know, in the evenings, it sometimes can cool off to a pretty comfortable temperature where it's not blazing hot anymore. As soon as the sun goes down and, you know, you're out, some of the humidity drops. I mean, you know, it gets really nice out in summer evenings, and something like this would be perfect for that time. For what it's worth, it is something a bit different and exciting. You just don't get this type of summer scent very often, and that's why I like it. Now, this next one is more of a dedicated fall and winter scent to me, but it's a really good one, and this is another example of something that I've been enjoying a lot more than I thought I was going to. Invictus Victory Elixir. So it's got vanilla, tonka bean, incense. Out of all of the Invictus flankers, aside from like Invictus Aqua, this has been one of my favorites. You know, Invictus Intense, Invictus Legend, Invictus Victory, the original, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple, although I think that seems like it's most of them. Maybe there's a few that I'm missing though. The point is, I've got all of the Invictus. Invictus Platinum, right? That's another one. And all of the Invicti, I have them all. This is one that has shocked me the most in a positive way. Not super unique either. Not something that's completely different, but really solid. This is an elixir scent, obviously. However, it doesn't come with quite the Elixir price tag. It's on discounters right now for just a bit over 100. I think like 107 I saw this one sitting at. I've seen testers coming in below that, and obviously these have no cap, so tester or not, makes no difference. A lot of the other Elixirs, you know, can be going for 150 at discounters. So this one's a little bit more of an affordable option, but as far as the Invictus lineup goes, this is one of the best. I really enjoy this one. And like I said, for me, it makes the most sense in the fall and winter time. Next up, we have Mancera Intense Cedrat Boise. Man, do I absolutely love everything about this one. This is, to me, a true flanker done right. And maybe some people wish that it separated itself a little bit more from the original. I just don't have that desire. And I've never really had an issue with the original. Cedrat Boise Eau de Parfum was my first ever niche purchase. It's been a signature scent of mine for years. Less now. If I wear Cedrat Boise, it's going to be this. But I have so many other things to choose from that less rare that I have a dedicated signature scent. You know, that would still probably be Acqua di Gio Profumo for me. But there was a point, spring, summer, fall, winter, no matter what time of the year it was, I was wearing Cedrat Boise Eau de Parfum very consistently. And I love it. I loved it when I first got it, and I still enjoy it now. But this one, it just truly is an improvement. It's stronger, it's richer, it's more full-bodied. That kind of goes hand in hand. But what a lot of people appreciate is the performance boost. And like I said, I've never had an issue with the performance, but I know a lot of people have. And if that's you, this is going to solve that problem. It's a true extrait concentration. It's beast mode stuff. 12, 14 hours longevity. Really, really respectable projection as well. I mean, this stuff, it's not going to let you down. And this DNA itself is incredibly wearable. You know, it really doesn't matter what time of year. Again, something like this during scorching hot summer days, it might start to get a bit too sweet, but that just depends on the person and what your tolerance is to that. But other than that, anything. It's got the performance to hold up in, you know, below zero temperatures. It's going to work for anything. Next up, we have Montblanc Explorer. Got to have a Creed Aventus clone in here, you know, or Creed Aventus, but I know that a lot of people would rather gravitate towards the clones, and really, I mean, why wouldn't you? This is 45 bucks. Aventus on discounters is still over 200. Pretty big discrepancy in price here, and this just kind of makes sense for a lot of people. Coupled with the fact that this is a designer, it's not a, you know, a clone brand clone like Armaf, you know, Al Haramain, etc. Designer, Montblanc. So theoretically, it's going to be a little bit more readily available. You can get it in stores and stuff. It's just, there's going to be more of an appeal to this one because it's coming from a designer brand. I think a lot of people, especially new people to collecting, they you know, they might not like the names and the presentations of some of these clones. I know I didn't, and you know, when I was first starting out, there were nowhere near the amount that there were now, but I still didn't really fully get behind that right away. Took me a while, but then I started wearing Brioni Intense Man and really started liking it. But you know, this one, I think it has a lot of appeal to it, both to the wearer, but also to people around you. I mean, there's no surprise that this DNA is a huge compliment magnet. Dior Sauvage Parfum, you know, it's, to me, and it just kind of feels this way, is the most overlooked Sauvage flanker. The Eau de Toilette is always going to be in the spotlight because of the fact that it's the original. It's the one that started the hype. This one kind of is stuck in a weird spot where, you know, it's just right between the Eau de Parfum, which wasn't overly popular, and it was right before Elixir, which was, you know, one of the biggest releases here within the past couple of years. So I think there's always been a bit of a shadow looming over this one. This one's got bergamot, orange, and sandalwood. I like it because it's not as spicy and peppery and sharp as Sauvage Eau de Toilette, and it has more of a mature smell to it. You know, the Eau de Parfum does a good job of mitigating some of that peppery spiciness, but this one does it even more. You know, you don't get much of any of that. The orange, the sandalwood, it gives it a really nice creamy smell and texture that was lacking in the other two. But it also isn't completely separate from Sauvage like Elixir is. So, you know, it really makes sense. This is a really, really good, well-done release, in my opinion. It just isn't as popular, and that's okay. I mean, that's a good thing. You know, if we know about it but other people don't, that's preferable. You know, and it's a little bit more expensive than the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum, but it's not as expensive as the Elixir. So again, kind of falling in the middle here. a little bit more of a premium price, and it's a 100 ml, you know, not 60 ml for 150 like Sauvage Elixir is. It's 100 ml for, I don't know, maybe 130, 140. So price difference there, price per milliliter is significant. Definitely one to check out. A lot of use out of this one, and still a great compliment getter. Brioni Eau de Parfum Intense. Love this stuff. I think the Brioni lineup as a whole is super unique. I haven't smelled one yet that I would consider to be a miss, you know, and that's rare. With all the flankers out there and just, you know, so many different lines and everything, there's always going to be, for the most part, one that isn't as good. You know, unless there's only 2 or 3, you know, flankers within a lineup and a, you know, track record's pretty good. But once you start getting into the lines that are getting bigger and bigger and they have tons and tons of fragrances like 1 Million and Invictus and things like that, there's always going to be some that I don't like. Now, the Brioni Eau de Parfum line, it is growing and it's not as big as some of those others yet, but still haven't found one yet that I dislike. This one's got tangerine, apple, oud, and patchouli. Super unique smelling, at least to me. You know, it's a unique combination. Apple, oud, tangerine, orange, you know, kind of an interesting situation going on there. But it really works. Like I say, it's got a combination of fresh and sweet, and in this case, a bit of a fruitiness too, with a kind of a woody oud. So it just has a little bit of everything for everybody, you know. You might not like certain aspects about the scent, but you might like others. And for me, everything just kind of, you know, works together really well. It's very appealing. And for a designer scent that's coming in at around, at least on discounters, $50, maybe $60, roughly around in that range somewhere. I mean, that's really reasonable, especially in today's standards. So definitely something to check out. If you do want something, in this case, it's going to be a little bit more unique. Up next, we do have a new release, but I had to put it in here, Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Parfum. Came out this year, and of course, I was nothing short of just over the moon excited about this one before I tried it. And then once I tried it on camera, you can go watch that video, it was an immediate love for me. I knew right away that this is going to probably pull me away a little bit from the extreme in the Eau de Parfum. I'm still going to work those in fall and winter time. I've got no doubt in my mind, but I will be prioritizing this one pretty heavily. So, you know, whether it's going to make either my fall or winter list, I don't know. It could go either way. You're going to be seeing it a lot this year. Once it starts to cool off, I'm going to be wearing this one as much as I can. I haven't been able to spend a ton of time with it, given the time that it was released, but I can't wait to wear it more. It's got amaretto, leather, almond, and patchouli. So well done. You know, finally a boozy L'Homme Ideal fragrance from Guerlain. Took them a while to get here, but, you know, it was worth the wait. I mean, it's incredible stuff. Absolutely love it. Staying true to that DNA with that almond note, which is still prominent, even though they don't list it off, which is interesting. You definitely pick up on it. It's everything that I would want in a flanker from this lineup. It's really good. Rochas Moustache Eau de Parfum is one of my favorite fall fragrances ever. Like, it just smells like the season of fall. And that's why I love it so much. And every time we get to like September, you know, I've said this before, but as soon as we get around that point where it's still warm out, but it's starting to want to get colder, you know, you can just tell it's inevitable. Like, it's impending doom that, okay, winter's coming. We got to get through fall first, but then winter's here, and then I'm going to be sad. But this one always cheers me up because before it gets freezing cold and we have those nice fall temperatures, I can enjoy this DNA, the YSL Tuxedo DNA. I love it. This is not nearly as expensive as YSL Tuxedo, and it has a little bit of its own twist, you know, uniqueness to it. So that's why I like it. Last up for this video, we have Azzaro Chrome Extreme. Smells a little bit like Acqua di Gio Profondo. You guys know that one, really popular summer scent, and that's kind of why it's in here. You know, you could go for Profondo if you want to put the money up, which, you know, it's not overly unreasonable, but this one is more affordable. It's a great option for you. You know, it does have the orange and kind of the sea notes and some of the aromatics going on and the citrus and things like that. It doesn't have the same level of mineral notes, you know, which is what makes Profondo really stand out and is super unique. But it's got a bit of that, and they're very close. You know, for the price point, this is a fantastic everyday wear summer scent that you and everybody around you is going to love. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. That very well could be, you know, some of the last fragrances that you would ever need to buy. If you're wanting to, you know, start slowing it down, you could finish off with a couple of these and you're going to be set. I'll link them all down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.